my girl. You're the type of woman to make a man get right. You're my world. You keep my mind spinning all through the night.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Jalen.
And I'm Casey.
And welcome to the Jalen and Casey Show. Happy to have you. Thank you for here Monday morning. First show of the week. How y'all doing today?
Happy spring forward.
Happy spring forward, yes. How are you doing with that lost hour?
For some of us.
For some of us.
For some of us.
If you don't have to deal with the ridiculousness of, did I save any time? Let us know. Let us know where you're watching from.
I know, right?
Or what country you're in where you don't have to deal with this.
So great. To not lose that hour.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
We adjust. It's always on Sunday morning, so church folk, I think we're the best at the adjustment.
Why is it all? I mean, okay, maybe because
the rest of y'all secular folk get to adjust a whole day. We got it. We own it.
I mean, maybe because at the beginning of the week, but why is it always a Sunday?
That's just the way it was chosen.
It's like the day of the week where I have to get up the earliest is always like, wow.
Maybe, I don't know. We turned Sunday to the Sabbath in Western civilization, so maybe they thought everybody be resting, but we got to go to church. So,
Katie K said, good morning. I got your name right this time. Katie K. Good morning, Katie K.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here.
Where are you from again? She told us, but I forgot. I'm saying she. It could be he.
I think it's Jamaica.
I think it's she, though.
Jamaica?
Yeah, I think you're right about Jamaica. I might be wrong. Let us know if we're right, Katie. All right, so we're getting all our live streams up and running. We are here. We are ready to go. We are doing an exciting topic. I think that's why some of y'all are already here waiting, because we told you about last week that we're going to have this topic. It's about that sex life. Does your sex life need help? This is the sex life Christian married sex life hotline today. That's what we are. We are the doctors are in. All right, but real quick, let me just talk about Audible real quick. Sponsor for the day, Audible. Start your free trial, audibletrial.com/Jalen and Casey. Okay, we're going to talk about it a little bit more later on the show because we're going to recommend a book that kind of goes in line with the topic. Actually, got some additional graphics today, but we'll talk about that a little later on when more people are on the live stream. But we want you to go ahead and get that. Cozy, if you can drop that in the chat for us, the link for audibletrial.com/Jalen and Casey. You get your 30 days free of Premium Plus, okay? Mm-hmm. And you'll be able to listen to the audiobook that we're going to recommend later that will help reignite the sexual intimacy in your sex life, as we are talking about today. So we'll talk about it again later, but for now, write that down, type it in, audibletrial.com/Jalen and Casey. Let's get that going. We want y'all to have it for free.
She is from Jamaica, and she is a she. LOL.
She is a she. Okay, making sure. I assumed, but you never know.
I knew that.
You never know. Good morning over to 123U, 123U. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Again, today's topic is pretty cool. Let me get back on the live stream so y'all can see. Okay, so we're going to just hop right into it. Well, no, actually, we're not. We're going to play a video because I found a video that I think ties directly into our discussion. I've already got it pulled up. Let me just make sure our browser's working properly, because I think if we start with this, everyone will get a good idea of where we're going today's conversation. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead, switch this over, and let's play this video.
I have an amazing husband. He loves me. We've had a happy marriage. He's my favorite person in the whole world. And he tells me the truth, and we have a really good marriage. And for whatever reason, I just have a hard time believing him when he tells me he's attracted to me. I'm convinced that being a man of integrity or a man of honor, he's going to honor our marriage. And so he's going to tell me what's going to be nice to hear.
Is this one particularly hard to hear because you don't think you are?
Oh, absolutely.
And so when he says, I think you're beautiful, or when he kisses you or holds you tight or wants to make love with you, in your mind, one of you has to be wrong. One of you has to be the liar here because you so deeply believe you're not beautiful anymore.
We have 6 kids. My body's been through it, and I have 30 pounds on me. Not a lot of weight, but weight I don't want. And, he says he doesn't mind, right? He doesn't care. But when we got married, I was 19. I was cute and thin and all that. And I'm not uptight about a lot of the things about my body, but man, that weight when you get close to 40 just doesn't come off the way it used to. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I don't look quite as young. I'm not carded anymore when I go into restaurants, right? Just stupid stuff. I feel like I'm aging, and I don't look old, and I don't think I'm ugly, and I don't think I'm huge, but I don't know.
You don't think you're lovable. You think you've done something wrong.
I feel like I've let him down.
Yeah, where does that story come from? You've given him 6 amazing kids, and he loves you to death.
I don't know. I've just always felt like I was clawing to prove that I was good enough to be wherever I was.
You think you're a burden to your husband.
I think I'm a burden to most people.
And with all due respect and love in the world, that's madness.
All right. So you're the woman here. I'm going to let you respond to that, or because that leads right into our discussion, which is we're going to talk about practical sex tips, body image, and all that as you age through marriage, as you go through things through marriage. But I'll let you.
And I want the ladies in the chat to chime in and let me know what you feel. But I definitely can relate to this sentiment. And I just want to just prerequisite this with, you know, I know men have their own issues similar to this. But being that I'm a woman, I know for a fact that society preaches insecurity to women more than men, especially in the realm of body change. Yeah, body image is very, very much preached to women. I just recently watched the Top Model documentary. Tyra Banks, Top Model, all the things. And I watched Top Model faithfully when it was coming out. 24 seasons, I believe it came on, and the biggest criticism she's getting is that, you know, she was teaching young girls not to like their body. And whether or not that was her intention or not going into this, it did what it did. You know, I don't think she's not the originator of it. Insecurity of women's bodies have been a thing since the fall of man. And I may even mention that revelation that the Lord gave me about that. But nonetheless, women are taught to not love their bodies. Something always is wrong with it. Man, I can remember as early as my teenage years where, especially when I hit puberty and your body begins to change and we just don't understand it, you're feeling out. And then we start comparing ourselves to our peers. And then when we get about 25, whatever, we're afraid of getting older. We're starting to try to hang on to our youthfulness, and we don't know how to accept change at all. We're told that, you know, by the time you're 25, 30, girl, you old. Your body's changing, your hormones start doing some weird stuff, and then God forbid you have children. It's just the worst, you know, on our psyche, depending on who you are and what you've been taught. And she's had 6 kids. I've only had 1 up to this point, and my body is definitely different. And learning how to accept the fact that change is okay. And that I have a good husband that loves me. I mean, she's talking about she got a good husband. So a lot of women don't even have good husbands. But when you have one that's saying, hey, babe, I love you. It doesn't matter to me. And I think men saying that it doesn't matter to them sometimes feel hurtful. Because the conversation in our head is telling us he has to be lying. He's just a nice guy.
Because there's no way we don't notice.
Yeah, right. Like, how you not see this? And how do you like this when the world is pushing to women all day long that this is the body type you ought to have? This is what beauty is.
So the
how do you not see that?
So the chances that you've married the 1% man that doesn't agree with the rest of the world is so slim that he's got to be lying.
Yeah.
Or something wrong with him even.
Yeah, and then it's this other thing. Even if you're okay with the idea that body changes, things like that, especially if you're nearing 40 or in your 40s and you going through this whole perimenopausal stage of your life, you don't feel the same. You're not the same, and you feel it. It's not just what you see on the outside. You feel it. And it's hard to put into words unless you're in it and you're living in it. You're just not the same. And you miss the energy you had. You miss the spark you had. You miss just that glow that you had. And like she mentioned, like, I don't get carded anymore. Now, I don't buy alcohol or stuff that requires me to get carded. But, you know, you do go to places and they say you got to be over a certain age. And it used to be a time where, you know, they had to ask me for my ID. And I mean, I think I said it yesterday. I said, babe, do I look my age? I said, don't answer that. But do I look my age? And I'm okay if I do look my age, but like, that's been the question. Like, do I look my age? What am I supposed to look like at this age? You know, it's a whole thing that women go through. And, you know, I go outside now, you know, I don't get the same looks or the same responses. And not that I am looking for that, but you are aware of that when it's happening. And then when it's not happening, you are aware that it's not happening. And you just like, man, I've fallen low. And it plays a lot on your psyche. And again, when you don't feel like yourself, and she's 30 pounds, girl, can I have your third life? But some women really struggle with change. And I really think it's wrapped up in the fear of change. And it's hard to accept change for a lot of people. And I mean, I have a lot more to say about that, but I'll let you chime in.
No, I mean, for men, like, for example, past 30, I started noticing the changes in myself. Like this past 12 months, I probably noticed more changes in myself, whether it be energy, some physical changes, things like that. But then I can see that I am indeed older looking than, I used to be, or I'm older in my body. Hold on.
I don't mean to disrespect you, but it's not the same.
Well, I'm saying, I'm going to explain the differences. The thing is, I can notice it, and maybe not for all men, but I can notice it and then keep moving. I can look in the mirror and see, Jaylen, you got bags under your eyes. You can see where wrinkles may be about to start to develop. You look more tired, whatever. I'm so, okay. I just keep it moving. Like, it doesn't carry a large weight with me. And so I think for a lot of men, because it doesn't carry a large weight with us, we think, well, it shouldn't carry a large weight with you. Just change your perspective. But you got to understand what the value system for men and women growing up in a society are. For women, it's body image.
I was about to say.
For men, it's not body image. It has more to do with performance, with working, money you make, things like that. You might feel as you're hitting 40, like, man, I'm losing time to get my body right, or I'm aging, I can't reverse it. Yeah. For us hitting 40, we're thinking I'm running out of time to get financially stable, to build wealth, to provide for my family, to get the nice cars and the houses, things that I see my peers doing. So we're both struggling. We're just looking in two different directions. And the same way I can tell you, hey, I'm not placing great value on the physical the same way you are. And you can say to me, I'm not placing great value on the financial like you are. Neither one of us believes it. Because here's the thing. I'm hearing all the women out there who desire the nice things. And I'm thinking my wife must want the things too. And she's looking at me as less than if I can't pull it off. And vice versa, you're hearing the same thing. You're seeing the men talk about women or seeing the women put their bodies out there. You're like, he may say he's okay, but really that's what he wants. He's just being nice. Yeah, and we both are thinking
it's all about value.
Yep.
There's a lot of stock put into a woman's fertility. Fertility is a sign of youthfulness, health. And when that starts to wane, it weighs heavy on the woman. And, again, every woman's not the same. Every woman may not place the same amount of value. But generally, this is what I see. And this is what I've gone through even before, But I've always struggled with my insecurity, even as a teenager. I've always looked at myself as not as pretty, not as this, not as that, someone else. And I've had to grow through that a lot. But now that I'm in that stage of life where I can obviously see changes and stuff like that, it takes a very stable mind to really walk that out. But society tells us a lot that we're not good enough if our bodies aren't producing this way or looking this way. And so when you're in a stable relationship, woman, and your husband's telling you, babe, I love you just the way you are, believe him, because for him, your beauty and your value is not wrapped up in just your physical body. You have history with this person. You have time. You have experiences. You have trust. You have things that your looks could never buy. And so you have to understand that when he's looking at you, he's looking at all of that and not just your physical body.
And I can't speak for every man. It's easy to just say, well, this is what all men are thinking. But what I think personally is, it's not that we can't see the changes and that we don't notice the changes. And if you've been married to your wife for 10, 20 years, there may have been a particular period of time where she had the body type the presentation that you like the most, maybe. But there is a practicality to men where, one, it's not worth sacrificing everything else. That is one piece of the entire puzzle of you and of our relationship. And you not being able to reclaim something from 10 years ago. I think we're intelligent enough to realize the difficulty it takes to reverse gravity, to push against gravity, and also what would have to be sacrificed for you to focus on that? If you were able to put all your energy on reclaiming your body, what else will fall by the wayside that we need you for? And we could do a cost benefit analysis, like as a person in business, and be like, it's not worth that to me. And I don't want it to be worth that to you. Just be alive, be healthy or whatever. For a lot of men, we just want you to like your body, because the more confident you are, the more sexual you are, the more happy you are, the more loving you are to us. A lot of your love that you express to us, that women express to their husbands, is based on their love or confidence for themselves. Yeah. And so we want you to love the body you're in so that you can love us with your bodies that you're in. And then the other thing is, again, although I can notice the changes, the value system is different. You know, I love you. I love that you're here with me. And put it like this. And again, there are trash men. But those of us men who are raised in a good household with a good mom, we get called down for dinner, and the plate that was put in front of us was the plate we got to eat. And if we had a preference, we were trained that we're going to eat what mama gives us. And we like what mama gives us. And we don't complain about what's in front of us. So fast forward, and I'm not comparing y'all to food, but I'm saying it's like the body that you give us, if y'all would confidently come up to us and say, look, this is the body I got. This is where I am right now. This is what I can afford to give you. Receive it. We'll be like, okay. Like at the end of the day, there's this understanding as a man of like, yeah, okay, I get that. That's what I got. And again, there are men who are different. I won't even call them men, but who will torpedo the whole relationship because they're chasing after something, and they'll spend their whole lives for it. And a lot of times they end up regretting it. But it's like, you were an idiot because it was not worth that.
I've learned, over the last several years, and it's been a journey for me. I would say the entirety of our marriage, I have been working on being more secure in my body, and especially as it relates to you and I, our intimacy and things like that. And I've had to really learn how to overcome the conversations that I came into our relationship with. And one of those things is, and I'm just going to tell you the revelation that God gave me. And I mean, I go to God for everything. I said, God, why is it that when I look in the mirror, I just don't like what I see? Why do I struggle? Because objectively, I can look at myself and say, Casey, you're fine. You're fine. There's people that will probably kill to look like you. And I don't say that pridefully. I'm just saying, like, these are conversations I have privately with God. So I understand, like, I should be grateful that I have a body and that I have all my limbs and I'm healthy. All this, like, I should be thankful, God. But why is it that when I look in the mirror, I just can't reconcile this is who I am now? Yeah. Number one, I used to compare myself to myself from like 20 years ago, 10 years ago, when I had the time to be in the gym 5 days a week. I was a gym girly, like for real, in 5-6 days a week, running 3-4 miles a day. I used to do these stupid diets, which I don't recommend, but that was my life. And I was very active and I was doing a lot of things. Fast forward 10, 15 years, my life has changed drastically. I don't have the same set of time anymore to do those things. Yes, my body has changed hormonally. A lot of things have taken place in between that time, but I'm requiring myself to be the person I was 10, 20 years ago, and I'm not her anymore. I have to let her go. So a lot of times we're mourning that person, that version of us, and we don't know how to step into who we are right now and maximize where we are. So that's that part. The second part that the Spirit of God revealed to me, he said, listen, he went all the way back from the fall. He said there was a time where man wore the glory of God. He was clothed in glory to the point where his body was of no consequence. He gave it no thought, no consideration. He didn't even notice it until the glory was lifted off of him because of disobedience. Once that happened, he saw his body, or they saw their body, recognized that I was naked. And that naked wasn't just, oh, I don't have fabric on, I don't have clothes. It was, I lost the glory. And what is this? What is this thing? This dirt, this body. It was not attractive to them. So they went and covered it. They had to find something to cover it because they hadn't been used to looking at it. It was of no consequence to them. And since that moment, mankind have been chasing the glory on some some way, some shape, some form, we've been chasing the glory. So now we've developed, this idea of having the perfect physique. We've been finding something to make us love these bodies. The Holy Spirit told me, you were never designed to love these bodies the way we've been taught all these decades. It was never meant to be a consideration. Your body is literally a vehicle to carry you in. You are not this flesh. You are not this flesh and bones. You are spirit. You are made in the image of God. God is spirit, right? He put us in these vehicles so that we could roam this earthly realm. It was never meant to be something that we had to focus on. So now man is chasing glory from a different perspective, from a carnal perspective. And we've been chasing it. So we exercise, we dress it up. And I'm not saying exercise is wrong. We should, because now we have to because of the fall. I'm not saying we shouldn't dress up and put ourselves together. But now it's coming from that fear perspective. It's coming from a carnal perspective, because now we're just chasing that glory. No one's going to say it like that, because innately we don't know that's what we are chasing, because we're so far removed from God. We're so far removed from the fall of man that we don't know that's the reason why. But Adam and Eve knew that's the reason why they clothed themselves, that they found fig leaves and covered themselves. It's because they lost the glory and they did not like what they saw. It was not attractive. And we've been chasing that. So that seed of insecurity we are born with as a result of the fall. So now we have to get back into the presence of God, get back into the glory through our relationship with Jesus, and find our self-worth in Jesus, not our bodies. And the Holy Spirit knows, Jesus knows, he was acquainted with all our griefs. He knows that we live in this world and that these bodies is something that we now consider. He will give you the blueprint on how to take care of these bodies. But it's never going to be from a perspective of trying to measure up to some carnal standard. It's going to be a standard for the word of God. So now, as I'm pursuing health and fitness in my body, I'm not pursuing it from a position of, man, I wish I was 20 again. I wish I had that. But I want to be healthy for the glory of God. I want to be healthy for my family, for my kids. I want to be strong. I want to feel good, but not at the expense of losing the glory. Not at the expense of, my security, So I'm not saying I love my body. No, it's not that I love my body. I love who God has made me. I'm glad to be here. I'm thankful for my body. I'm thankful for it. And out of thanksgiving, I'm going to take care of it. You know what I mean? That makes sense? Mm-hmm. So that's the revelation that God gave me concerning me, because I was struggling hard. And it's really hard to tell someone that they're beautiful if they don't see it for themselves, and if they don't have that conversation for themselves. And I'll be honest, there are days where I don't feel as attractive. I don't feel as beautiful, but I have less days of feeling that way now than I used to.
So the problem with the whole physical insecurity thing is that it deeply affects your sex life, because sex is such a deeply physical thing. Sex isn't only physical, but the final stage of sexual intimacy is the copulation of two bodies together. So we're going to jump into that next. I'm going to hit the chat before we do that. Mm-hmm. But one thing I want to say as we get into this probably going to be geared towards women a lot, because women are more having that physical barrier when it comes to sexual intimacy, and men usually don't. So it's going to be a lot of things aimed towards women, but I would encourage anybody watching this to watch the episode we did, go to our playlist on the Jalen Casey Show series, and watch the one we did on sexual intimacy before a few weeks ago, because it talked to men a little bit more about controlling our sexual template and our sex drive and all that. And I just think both go together well, because in that one, we're focused less on the act of sex and the more the mentality of what you bring into your marriage. And this one, we're going to practical tips to help you with your physical intimacy. But both go together very well. I don't want to feel like it's one-sided. All right, so what we got in the chat?
All right, so we have Cozy Crochet saying, I have always been comfortable in my body, even through all the changes after children. Kudos to you, girl. I felt my most beautiful when I was pregnant. I was a little sad after giving birth. I can actually relate that too. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember feeling so pretty. And again, I believe it was the grace of God, because I had issues before we got pregnant. I'm like, Lord, I need to lose some weight. I need to lose some weight. Help me lose 20 pounds, God. I need to be skinny before I get pregnant. But once I let the Spirit of God direct me, and I said, Lord, I just give this body to you. I'm not going to stress about it. When I was pregnant with our son, I felt the most pretty. Mm-hmm. Like, I just felt pretty. Even though I look back at a picture, I'm like, girl, why was you wearing that? But I just felt so cute. And I did feel a little sad once I gave birth, because no longer, for one, I didn't have my table, my automatic table that came with me. I didn't have my shelf table anymore. But I don't know. I did feel a little like sad after giving birth. I think there was other reasons attached to that too, like all the attention I got to. Mm-hmm. That was very nice. But yeah, I can really understand that. She said, Casey, you definitely don't look your age. I would have never known until you told me. Well, thank you, Cozy. I appreciate that. Katie says, I've always been fluffy, but after I had my son, I felt I was unattractive. And even though my husband says I'm beautiful, I don't believe him. Maybe because I think he's just saying that to be nice. And that is what a lot of women think. I've said that to you. Mm-hmm. I said, babe, I want to believe you, but I just think you're a nice guy. So you just saying that because you're not mean. Katie said, in my mind, I feel like I should look as fit as him. I always think if someone looks at him and looks at me, they will probably ask why he married her.
So you've always said that you never want that to happen with you and me. And I think part of it comes from insecurity. But I also think, and this is when I tell both spouses to always look good, because we talked about last week about guarding your marriage against infidelity and everything. I do think there is something to the way y'all present yourselves to the world. Mm-hmm. And I do think that y'all should present yourselves as equal level. Like, y'all should take care of yourselves. If you got a woman who dresses nice and takes care of herself, then man, you need to step up. You don't need to be looking out there sagging jeans and she dressed up, looking good, clothes put together, you look sloppy. And vice versa. You should both look that way. And I think what happens is a lot of times when we become moms and that becomes their identity and they don't try anymore and then they feel bad about the way they look and things like that. But it's like, that's why, man, you need to provide opportunities for your wife to go places that, to look nice, to go on dates and things like that. Because I do think you should present yourselves, but I think you can do that at any size. Yeah. That doesn't have to be size dependent. Look, people are always going to talk. People are always going to have opinions. Some people prefer people to be thick, thin. People prefer people to be big and have meat on their bones. So depending on where you go in the world, people have different opinions, and you can't change that. But you should present yourselves well together. I think we've always tried to do that.
Yeah, Coach Crochet said, in ancient Asia, and Greek culture, bigger girlies were a sign of your husband was rich enough to let you lay around and eat all day. I petition to bring that mindset back.
Yeah, depends on what country you in.
Listen,
even now.
I used to say, look, we see like the statues of David and who else, like any other Greek gods, whatever. The men were always very built, strong, muscular. The women, however, when they would sculpt them, they were always full and fluffy. You never saw one ab on these women. I mean, I'm serious, not one ab. It was always a nice little round belly or something like that. They were a little fluffy. And I said to myself, now, this is ancient Greek stuff. This is, I'm like, if I see Eve in heaven and she ain't got a six pack, I'm gonna be mad because I've been chasing that six pack for way too long. And I think women's bodies have been, maybe it's because women have been chasing male status for so long.
Well, it could be
a lot of things.
It's various cultures. You can go to a place in Africa right now where big is beautiful, and we're going through a renaissance in America. I think we're going a little too far with body positivity where, big is beautiful here too. But
when it's unhealthy.
Well, I'm saying, regardless, it's not my business what body you got. I don't really care. It's between you and your spouse. That's not my business. My issue is when people are half naked in the street at any size, it just looks sloppy. People just look sloppier, in my opinion, in general, all across the board, skinny, fat, whatever. But at different cultures, Cozy is right. There was a time when if you were skinny and we could see your bones, even men were, it was considered your assigned a status to be fat or have a big belly. Mm-hmm. Because if you were small, that meant you were poor because you couldn't eat because you were a peasant. So you were starving. Yeah. So having meat on your bones, fat, meant that, you were a person of status because you could afford to eat. Now we're in America, just think about the West right now in America, we have so much overabundance of food that we have diets now that have intermittent fasting. There are people hundreds of years ago who would look at us with side eye like, you as a practice just decide to skip a meal? Like, I'm trying to get one meal today. I haven't eaten in 3 days. So we have this privilege of being able to say, you know what, I'm not going to eat today as a diet plan. Yeah. And so In this world, we have the privilege of going to the gym, lifting weights, and sculpting our bodies. People were just trying to survive and not die of dysentery back then. Like, it's a very different world. So what I'm saying is the standard of beauty changes. Yes, magazines came in, fashion industry. These pedophilic gay men were trying to make the girls look like little boys. So you had these really skinny women, and then regular women start looking at that and we're like, oh, that's the new fashion beauty, next top model. Look, that's why you should not care based on what everyone else is saying. Yeah. Look at you and your spouse and decide. And when you come into marriage, I say it's a man, throw away all the other stuff, you know, and just be like, I mean, we're adults, right? We're all grown people here. We can be a little raw. When I grew up, you know, I always say this, I didn't discriminate very much. I like women of all types, skin tones, shapes, and sizes. But I had something that I thought I would end up with that I would like. Then I fell in love with my wife and we got married. And her body type different from the things that I thought I liked before we got married. But once I was married and I could touch and handle and feel and see these things, I was like, you know what? I kind of like some of these things that I had never thought about before, couldn't experience it. And again, your sexual template. You fill yourself up, whether it's pornography, whether it's TV shows, whether it's romance novels, on so many ideas before ever experiencing it, that you come into marriage and then you're dissatisfied with your partner or you're dissatisfied with yourself because you do not match up to the fantasy that you created. And it's like, why don't we if we could just cut everything out and build something in our closed door bedroom together and decide this is what we love, this is what we like, and make it work like that. That is what I would prefer to see Christian married couples do. Cut out the noise and decide this is what we have and we like, and this is what we're going to do. Yeah. Because whether or not you need to lose weight for your health, whether or not you got health problems or hormones jacked up, whatever, that's a whole separate lane of travel you got to take. But regardless, we need to be having sex all the way through it. And so what can we do? What kind of template can we build? What kind of expectations can we set that we are always sexual all throughout our marriage, no matter what we look like? And I think that's what's important. That's what we're going to talk about today.
Amen. Let's get into it.
Let me make sure I don't have any other chats from anywhere else. If you are watching, make sure you let us know. I got 3JS over here. Thanks for being here, saying it's harder to lose for women. Probably talking about weight. Yeah, that's what I hear.
I mean, it is true. It is yep. true. We go through a lot of changes, and here's the thing. We talk about body positivity. We're talking about how society has done us wrong. They're preaching a gospel. They're saying that you're not good enough. And we know that's from Satan because you have to demonize something or to sell you something.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
All right. And then a lot of it is just a lack of information. We live in a world now where we have more information about body changes, hormones, things like that. Maybe, we'll do a whole segment on health and hormones and things like that for men and women, but especially women. A lot of women just don't know what's actually happening. So we don't know how to prepare for the change. And when we're in that change of our lives, we don't have the resources, the information on how to navigate that properly. And so it's a sandwich thing. It's not just physical, but it's the mental and the spiritual that has to come together in agreement in order for this thing to really work. You're not gonna be 20 anymore forever. You're not gonna be 20 forever.
Nope.
You're just not.
Nope.
You're just not. You're not gonna be 30 forever. You're just not. You're not gonna be 40 forever. You're always going to be in some form of change.
And look,
always.
We talk about culture. We have a fitness culture right now, and it's all about money, right? So you see all the models, you see them half naked, and you can find somebody that fits your height, your body shape, and your life setup where they got kids like you, and it's like, I can do it. What's your excuse? And then you feel bad, things like that.
The bounce back culture. Oh my God.
And it's like, okay, again, cut out the noise. Here's what you got to understand. No, I don't think that as you get older, you got to get weaker, you got to get unhealthy, and you got to get bent over and die, or you even have to get overweight. Yeah. But understand that the amount of time and life budget and focus you have at 30 than you have when you're 20 is not the same. If you have progressed in life, in business and family, you've expanded your family, in ministry, you have more responsibility. And so less share of your time can be spent focused on your looks. And so as you age, that's going to happen. So it ain't even about, am I weaker or am I getting sicker? That itself is enough. And so you got to adjust with your life budget and take the pressure off yourself and say, okay, I did not have as much time to put towards that. So that doesn't mean I'm going to give up on it, but I'm going to maximize my time differently. I'm going to cut out more things that are a waste of time. And the little bit of time I have, I'm going to focus it. And I'm going to change my expectations.
Yeah.
I'm going to change my standards and say, okay, it used to be I need to stay underneath this number on the scale, and I could afford to do that. Now I'm going to forget the scale. I'm going to focus on building muscle because that's good for health. I'm going to focus on being able to go up and down the stairs. I'm going to focus on being able to run around with my kids. I'm changing the standards based on what's important in my life. And me and my spouse are in constant communication about these things. We talk about health a lot, and we talk about what our goals are and what we want, what we like to see, and what we want to do for ourselves. You got to have this communication with your spouse because communication is the first form of intimacy. And
I know it seems like we're talking about health and not necessarily sex, but it all goes together. And, you know, like I realized that while I may not be the same weight I was 15 years ago, I still work out. I still lift weights because that's important as I get older, that I have muscle on, because that helps with the aging, that helps with hormones, that helps with so many things. So ladies, you need to lift. And they've proven that if you have an active person that's maybe on the bigger side, plus size side of things, if they're active, consistently active, they're more healthier than a person that's quote unquote skinny and does nothing. Okay. So the numbers on the scale does not necessarily measure up to how healthy you are. Is there a healthy weight for you? I believe there's a healthy weight for every person, and you can find out what that is for you individually. But we focus so much on aesthetic that we're not really living a healthy life. Yeah. Because even those people who may have the aesthetic of health, they may not be healthy. Yep. And that's what I've learned over the years. They may have the perfect size or whatever, but they may not be healthy physically. They may not be healthy spiritually, mentally. They're just not balanced because, again, they're chasing the glory from a different perspective.
And that's a spiritual thing that's kind of hard to get people to understand, but it's like to focus on the spiritual first, because understanding your identity, because there are people who look good, who look perfect, but and that's balanced. What you're chasing. That doesn't mean that you're mentally healthy, because your entire stability is built on that. And if something were to ever happen, you would ever have an injury. There are people who are weightlifters, ripped or whatever, but they get an injury and they can't lift for a few days, they freak out, they go into a depression. That's not healthy. I'm not physically, were they physically healthy? Sure. But there's your 3-part being. You are a spirit, you have a soul, and you live in a body. Yeah. Okay? Yes. And you cannot prioritize what you live in above who you are. Your identity must be found in something other than what your body can look like, because that can change and is subject to the movements of life. And it is the one thing that you're not taking with you into heaven. It's the one thing you're not taking with you into eternity. That's this body. Praise God. From God's perspective, it is the thing that has the least importance. I think it was Paul that said physical fitness has some profit or very little profit. And it's like, well, we got to live in these bodies and all that. Yes, but you understand that you're running a race, and everything you do is driving this body toward death. I don't mean that to be negative, but every step you take, gravity is dragging it into the grave. So all that we do for fitness is kind of delaying that or making sure that we have a good quality of life on the way there. But what is a priority? So I can be here for my family, so that I can minister the gospel and do everything that God's called me to do. Those are my focuses. Okay.
Yeah, I think I think the reason now I work out, and that's a good way of putting it, is I want a good quality of life.
There you go.
Because I know these bodies will expire at some point.
That's right.
But now my focus is on having a quality of life. Yeah. So if being in the gym 2-3 days a week, lifting, doing cardio helps me have a better quality of life, then that's the reason why I want to do that. Because I still want to be able to walk up downstairs at 80 years old. I want to be able to play with my kids and grandkids. Like, that's my goal in life, and not so much the aesthetic. Your body will do what your body's going to do if you give it the right things in it. You know, it will do what it's going to do.
Yeah, but it's also going to do it at different rates, different times.
Yep.
As a man, going it further into my 30s, I can do the same things that I did when I was 20, the same regimen, and I'm getting different results.
Yep,
they're not bad results. They are results, but they are different, and they're not as pronounced as when I was younger. So when I eat a certain way, when I work out a certain way, I notice, I'm doing the same amount of effort that I did when I was in my 20s, but the visual results that I'm getting are different. I've watched you. You've been working out in some shape or form since I've known you, and after we've been married. And I can tell right now, I'm pretty good at this. I've seen you at times put in just as much effort when you were younger, early on in our marriage. And when you did that effort early in our marriage, whether it was eating or fitness, you would get certain results at a certain speed, and it would bring you down to a certain size or a certain shape. I'm seeing you do that same effort now, and you get results, but it's not the same.
It's
slower. And so I know that when you say that something has changed, I know that something has changed. That something has changed internally, biologically in your body, that you can do the same work but get different results. And it feels unfair because like I'm putting in the same effort, but it's like there's holes in the bag and the stuff is dripping. It's like, so that means you have to shift your focus. There are women who got certain results with cardio in their 20s that now you're only going to get those results from heavy lifting, you know, if you're in your 40s now. And there are some, and even if you do that, there's just going to be a difference. People who have been fit all their lives, where people can't tell the difference, will normally not believe this. Some people are biologically engineered a certain way where they don't put on weight the same way and they don't change shape the same way. I'm one of those people.
I mean, I am one of those people. So annoying. I mean,
is.
Obviously, he's a man.
I enjoy it, but
it's a man. But his family, the men in his family just don't gain weight the same way. Even when he puts on weight, he still looks good in it. Yeah. And whenever he decides, like, okay, I'm just going to go back to working out or eating a certain way, it comes off like...
And it'll be easy for me to tell her, just do what I do and you'll get the same results.
Does not work.
And again, I have noticed, no one else can know, but I have noticed, oh, Jalen, there is something different about when you're doing things or your body has changed in a way that's it's not going back the way it was. Good. But most people can't tell. So we are comparing ourselves against other people biologically, genetically, that we're not built the same. Again, I'm not saying that you're genetically predisposed to always be a beast your whole life. I'm not saying that if you that calories work differently for you, that hey, if you do this, you burn calories, but when I do, I don't burn calories. Yes, you do. Your body's not that different. I am saying that if you are noticing changes over 10 years, 20 years, not 6 months, 10 years, 20 years of how you put in a certain amount of effort and it changed later, you're not crazy. There is something there. Can that be reversed or fixed to a certain degree? A lot of times you find out you are deficient in certain things. Sometimes it's certain vitamins that your body's not producing right. It's certain hormones, especially for women, as you go through perimenopause, menopause, things like that, your hormones are all over the place. So those are different things that can happen. You just have to investigate. And again, that's going to take time and money. But again, back to the sex thing. If that takes time to figure that out, does your sex life have to disappear during that time?
No. So let's get into the practical stuff because we've had a whole health lesson. I hope y'all appreciate that. Yeah. But I mean, I think that's very important. You can't talk about sex and not talk about health because your health directly affects your sex life and your health starts here. Yep. It starts in your soul. It starts in your mind. Okay. Understand that. It's spirit, soul, and body.
Yeah, in that order.
All right. In that order. All right. The Lord told me, renew your mind, change your body. So it starts here. Okay. So your health starts here. So sexual health starts here. So perspective, we already talked about that a lot already. Perspective is everything. Men deal with it too, but women especially. Perspective. You got to change your perspective about yourself because when you get more confident, your sex life in your marriage, I'm talking to married folks here, will definitely get better. Okay, if you're a person dealing with shame, you got to be in the dark all the time. You're covering up. When he touches you, you flinch because you're just so self-conscious of all your imperfections and flaws. That's something that only you and God can fix.
Here's what you guys understand about sex, and Lord showed this to me. The act of sex is service. This goes for men and women. It's not about you. Okay, and it's your focus with intimacy. And remember, intimacy goes all back to communication. Yeah. So it travels all the way through from communication to penetration. It is. It's all about service. Your focus is how can I serve my spouse intimately? If you do that, if you become selfless, you'll take the focus off of you and stop being self-centered about I don't look good enough. That's a selfish attitude. Yeah. You probably never thought of it that way because you're thinking about I'm protecting my insecurity and I don't feel good. And I want them to make me feel good and I don't feel good, so we can't do this. You're being selfish. Because sex is about serving the other person. Yeah. Man, when you go in there, you're there to serve her, to give her what she needs and what she desires in that sexual, intimate moment. Woman, same thing with your husband. If both of y'all are doing that, you would have the greatest sex ever. But if you do that, that means you're going to take the focus off of yourself, off of your needs. And woman, some of your needs are, I've got to be not overstimulated by everything going on outside. I've got to get my body's got to be just right. The lights got to be off, things like that. Do what y'all need to do to set the mood. But what I'm saying is don't go in there with all these rules of what I have to have before I'm allowed to be sexual.
Listen,
that's self-centered.
It is. Here's the thing. Pretend you're a restaurant, all right? And your husband who loves you keeps coming back to your restaurant.
I like this.
And he keeps visiting your restaurant and ordering the same meal. That means he like it.
Yep.
That means he wants more of it. All right. He's not going to the restaurant next door. He's not ordering Uber Eats, nothing like that. He's there. He's saying, I want this meal. I like what you serve me here. So believe him. If he keeps showing up, then put out. I mean, and you say, well, listen, we overanalyze everything too much. Like we psychoanalyze everything too much to the point that it freezes us from doing anything.
That's right.
All right. And I know we want to be comfortable. I have gone through this. Listen, like he said, turn the lights off. Is that something that helps you? Babe, listen, I'll give you everything you want, but we going to do it in the dark. Okay. We're going to be in the dark. This is going to be a sensory feel and touch type of situation. I don't think he'll mind, as long as you serving the plate, as long as you putting the food on there, right? Some restaurants are dimmer than others, you know. I mean, sometimes, you know, but be intentional and just make it happen. There have been times where I have now always felt like having sex. I mean, I think most women can say yes to that. We ain't always being there, but it is a service. My husband needs me. He wants me. It's healthy for our relationships. I'm doing it for the health of our relationship. I don't have to always feel it emotionally to do it. More like when I go to the gym, I don't always feel like going to the gym, but I'm doing it for a purpose and a reason. And 99% of the time, once I've finished the workout, I'm glad that I did it. I feel better. I'm happy. It wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always a positive outcome when I show up. Same thing in your marriage. There's always a positive outcome when you show up. I had a coach that used to always say, the hardest thing is showing up. Just show up. He said, but if you can overcome and just show up, the rest will take care of itself. The rest will. And sometimes wives and husbands, you just got to show up. Just be there and let the grace of God and let gravity, let all of it just kind of push it in the direction that it needs to go. It will work out. Always.
And it's like, again, we have these fantasies. It's like, well, I don't think sex is supposed to be that way. All right, we can't have both ways, right? You can't complain. I never want to have sex because I don't look right. But then when we tell you something like this that's practical, it's like, well, sex shouldn't be that practical. It should be more romantic, things like that. Well, you're not trying to do that either. So pick one. Are you just going to shrivel up and die? But here's the thing. Yes, sex should be desired. Both people should want to be there. That's something that you can work toward. But that's a goal. Like, yes, you would love it if at some point you enjoy going to the gym. But until you get there, we're going to start here. And we want something, but we're not willing to work. You made a statement. You were like, you want to keep a gym, willing to bake a cake. You want a great sex life that's full of pleasure, full of orgasms. We love it. We're both enjoying it. We both want to be here. But you're not willing to step through the door of sex before you feel that way. And so you want something without having to build it. It has to be built. What they're showing you on television is fake. In real life, you have to build it. Okay. And maybe, again, when you were younger, when y'all was in the honeymoon stage, you didn't have to build nothing. But I need you to understand something. It's not that was fake, but that wasn't real. How do I put this? It's like a kid that has all the energy to run around, things like that. It's not that was fake. They had that, but adult life, real life isn't like that. So if they want to run around for 5 hours straight, they have to work for it once they get past teenagerhood. You know what I'm saying? As a kid, you're just running. Your body's not done yet. You're growing. Your marriage wasn't done yet. You were growing and it was fun. Great. I hope you had a lot of sex every day and you experienced that
and
fun.
The video,
and it was great.
In the video, the lady said she was 19 when they got married. 19, girl.
So if you're comparing what your body was, what your sex life was when you were 19, it's like you weren't even done yet. Now you're in real life. In real life, we have to build it. We have to work for it. When you were a kid, you didn't pay for the lights. You didn't pay for the food. Your parents just gave it to you. That's great. It wasn't fake, but it's also not real life. In real life, you have to actually put in some effort to get it done. And what do we call the people who live on their parents' couch until their 30s and 40s and won't go out there and do that? We call them lazy. We call them bums. Don't be sexually lazy. Don't be a sexual bum. It may take some effort. It will take some effort and some work. So with the weight thing, spend a lot of time on that. Divorce weight from sex. Can you guys touch, please, penetrate, whatever involves y'all sexual act? There are sexual acts that y'all can do. Then you can have sex. The weight doesn't preclude you from being able to have sex. You may be able to do all movements. You may be able to do all things that people talk about doing.
Results may vary.
There may be some levels that are unlocked as you get more fit and limber. But regardless, whatever you got, you are not incapable of having sex. There are people 10 times your size that are getting it in. And you will be surprised. Maybe you'll be disgusted because you're disgusted by weight, but they're getting it in. You can do this. So push that away. Now, if part of the reason you're not having a lot of sex, you're having these issues, things like that, your sex life needs help, is the limit of your pleasure. The pleasure is limited. Sometimes through bodily changes or because you gain more weight, whatever, your pleasure starts going down. I've heard people say when they start losing weight, their pleasure went up. Their sexual pleasure itself went up. Sometimes it's psychological. Sometimes it's actually things going on in your body that change. Or, your health goes down. Again, women, y'all go through a lot of changes all throughout life. There
is help. And I want to extend hope. Just like we talk a lot about the fact that divorce wasn't an option for us, but having a lackluster marriage was also not an option for us. So that meant we had to study, we had to research, we had to learn. Sex is something that you can learn within the confines of your marriage. Okay, if you're in a safe relationship, y'all can learn. And as you change throughout life, you're not going to be this. If you've been married 10, 20 years, you're not the same person. Like this lady that called in the video, she was 19. Now she's closer to 40 now. She's not the same person. And what happens is we don't adjust for change. So we don't learn anything else new. We mentioned before, what you did in the gym to lose weight when you was 20, you're not going to be able to do it the same way when you're 35, 40. It's just not going to work the same. It's not going to respond. And not that exercise is a bad exercise, but it's not appropriate for where you are now. Mm-hmm. So what we do, we get frustrated instead of learning something new and fresh. And there are a lot of reasons why you may have to adapt, not just aging, but you may have an illness, children, something could be in the way of your sexual pleasure. Instead of just accepting that, it's just the way it's going to be from now on, learn something new. Yeah. Figure out the problem. See, a lot of times we don't get down to the microscopic level of our issues. We stay right on the surface. I'm going back to hormones, ladies. Check your hormones. Mm-hmm. I'm an advocate for that. If I had known a lot of things that I know now, 10 years ago, I would have been on it. But check your hormones. Don't discuss, well, my mama told me what. Go to somebody who is professional. Do your research. Figure it out.
Don't listen to anybody, even medically, who tells you there's no hope, nothing you can do about it. Keep going until you find someone that says you can fix this.
And then always go to your source, God the Father. He created you. He will lead and guide you. Because you can go to him in prayer about these things. I know I have. God, help me. And I'm on a journey now of learning and discovering myself spiritually and physically. And he's revealed a lot of things in me that I need to address. He has brought resources my way that I would have never known existed if I didn't seek him first about it. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added to you. I was telling someone just a moment ago that the answers that we are looking for comes in the seeking. Amen. A lot of times we think we pray and then the answer is going to fall into our lap. No, it's when you actively get up and seek, you're now walking in the direction of the answer. So now the answers are presenting itself because you're in the path of the answer. So seek and ye shall find. That's what the word says. So as you're pursuing your sexual pleasure, as you're pursuing your sexual intimacy between your spouse, now you're actively seeking and the answers will come. Oh, yeah. And sometimes it's not as difficult or as problematic as we have made it out to be. Mm-mm. It could be a simple adjustment. And a lot of times it boils down to just your communication. You just don't talk. You have unrealistic expectations that, you haven't discussed. It could be an adjustment of the time of day. Let's schedule it. We talked about it sometimes. People think it has to be spontaneous. Spontaneous sex doesn't hardly ever happen, especially when you have children. You have to plan, okay? And so plan so that way you can anticipate. You can prepare your mind, prepare your body, prepare the mood. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I love when we plan a vacation. I'm like, oh, I cannot wait. You get all excited. You plan. You do all the things. It can be the same for your sex life. Now, if spontaneity happened in between the plan time, great. That's a bonus. But don't live for spontaneity, because you will be greatly disappointed if spontaneity is the only time you have sex.
You really have it,
Yeah.
And like I say, the health thing, and it's like we are in the 21st century. We have been to the moon.
Mm-hmm. Allegedly.
You can fix whatever's going on. Mm-hmm. Even if it's finding the grand goal. Okay, sex is painful. Change positions. There's vaginal dryness. Get some lube. Well, the lube I tried didn't work. Get another one. I hate when people have problems and you offer them a solution. They're like, oh, I tried that. It is clear they just tried one thing and then quit. I'm like, you are so lazy. Like, I'm not that way. Mm-hmm. If I try option A, then I move to option B. Like, you rarely ever have me saying something just don't work. I have tried everything under existence. And it's like, you just don't care enough. Yeah. Couples just don't care enough. And I'm not saying it's just the women. These are men too. Because what we don't talk about is when men reach a certain age and their sex drive drops off or the performance drops off, and then they're the ones drawing back. And then the women are wanting more sex, but the men are pulling back. And men are notorious for excuse me, I'm trying to fix this TikTok thing so we don't lose the video here and it's messing other stuff up. Hold on. But men are notorious for not seeking help. Because
there's shame and embarrassment when we start to change. And that's another trick of the enemy. Yeah. He makes us feel ashamed for changing. Yep. For not being able to perform the way we did. Like it's our fault. Mm-hmm. We found a reason to make it our fault. No, change happened. Things change. Yep. But you know what remains the same? Jesus. Jesus is always the answer. Mm-hmm. And we think God don't care about our sex life. He does.
He can heal that.
He can heal that. Right? And he created it. Yep. So he knows all about it.
Some of you need to do some research on Song of Solomon. Some of you need to research translate. Sometimes you need to use imagination. It's very poetic, and there's a lot of euphemisms in there. Mm-hmm. And you'll read something and be like, is that what they're really saying? And maybe if we have time, I'll read some passages, and it gets you to realize, whoa, like this isn't the Bible. So yeah, if there's something limiting your pleasure, solve it. Yep. Get some assistance. I'm going to tread lightly here. Everyone's got different beliefs on this stuff, but there exist things to assist you sexually. Just like there's equipment in the gym. You got yourself a belt. You got yourself, the headphones. You got you got the clothes and stuff like that. We got shoes. There are things we do to help our performance in the gym because what we're trying to do matters. We want to lose the weight. We want to get strong. We'll take the supplements, the creatine, the whey protein, all that stuff. Equipment, supplements, will ingest and will put on things, equipment to help us. There's a wide range of what I just said that applies to sexual function too. Some of it's pharmaceutical, some of it's mechanical. Things exist. There is no reason for y'all to have sex 3 times in a row and y'all were in pain, y'all didn't have pleasure, you can't orgasm, whatever like that, without y'all saying, okay, let's begin to introduce some supplementation to assist us so that we can enjoy this. You should not be going months and months, years and years without pleasure, with pain and with discomfort, and just be like, well, that's just the way it is. Like, we have way too much technology that God has seeded into the minds of man to do it. And I know that sounds weird. You're Christian, so you're like, oh, is that okay? Is that okay? Read Song of Solomon. You're going to find some things in there that you're like, whoa, people were doing that? Yeah. Do what you got to do. That's between y'all and God. I don't want to know. I don't need to know what y'all do behind your closed doors.
Don't post about it.
But if y'all are happy, there was a couple marriage we listened to, and they went through some kind of health issue that made classical penetrative sex hard or impossible for them because of the health issues they were having. But so they were sitting down for counseling and everything, and they had communicated this, but they were still having an active sex life. So they asked for counsel for their pastor, and they were like, and they were all sheepish and kind of like ashamed. And they were like, well, we just don't know if we're sinning or not, because due to this is what we started doing with each other. It's just the two of them. It wasn't pornographic. They weren't introducing nobody else in the bedroom. It was still them two. They're the only two human souls involved here. But they were supplementing or figuring out a way to navigate what they were going through. And they were enjoying it, having fun, but they felt ashamed because they had never had anybody teach them whether it's okay or not. And the pastor listened to them and was like, I'm so proud of y'all that y'all didn't just give up on your sex life because y'all going through these health issues and things were going right. Y'all doing great, have fun, enjoy God. And then they felt better, they left out feeling happy. And a lot of times we are avoiding using the intelligence God gave us and the creativity that God gave us to revolutionize our pleasure of our sex lives, and we're just binding ourselves to something, and it's like, go have fun.
Yeah.
Go figure it out.
Yeah.
God be with you. Listen to the Holy Spirit. If you're not getting a no, go for it. If it's uncomfortable, if it's unsafe, if it's hurting, y'all stop. But if y'all are enjoying yourselves and you're not involving another person,
Yep.
you're not involving pornography that's still bringing another person in virtually. It's the two of you. You're not safe. You're not harming each other. You're not threatening your health. Go with God. Be happy. Enjoy yourself.
Go with God. Godspeed.
All right. And here's the thing. And this goes both ways, but I think it's just going to seem like I'm targeted towards the women. Find out, or you know what your husband likes, right? And please do the version of this for women, so I'm not just singling women out.
I don't know. There's a version for women for this.
Whatever.
Maybe there is. I'm very simple. I'm very basic. But
here's my thing. All right. You go to Chick-fil-A. Let's say, what's your, drop it in the chat. What's your favorite restaurant, favorite food, fast food, whatever? You know, maybe it's not the healthiest thing in the world, but you just love eating it. And wife, let's say in this universe, it's this fake universe. Let's go with me here. You enjoy Chick-fil-A as your favorite food, and you're all in the car, you and your husband, and you're like, hey, let's go stop at Chick-fil-A. And he says, nah, I don't feel like it right now. And then it's like, well, okay, well, can we go tomorrow? Well, I'll think about it. You pass it again. Nah. You call him on his way home from work. Can you bring the Chick-fil-A home? Nah, I got a headache. I'm not in the mood. Whatever. Okay, we don't got a budget for it today. I understand that. But every time you ask, it's just no, repeatedly. And for whatever reason in this universe, you can't have it by yourself. He's got to bring the Chick-fil-A. You got to eat it together. And because he never wants it or doesn't feel like it or doesn't feel like the money's there, it's constantly no. How do you feel about that husband? Like, is that a good husband, or is he really, like, why is he denying his wife? Okay, if your husband wants something sexually, and there's guardrails around this, and you constantly tell him no and deny him for your reasons, not for his reasons, but for your reasons. It's at the right time. I'm tired, whatever. It's a school, whatever the reason. I'm not saying they're not good reasons, but it constantly goes on endlessly. What is the signal you're sending to him? Because remember, sex is about selflessness. Okay. And this goes both ways. It just tends to go this way. I got to speak from a man's perspective. All right. You're concerned about your weight. You're concerned about your visage, everything that you present. But what has he been saying that he likes? Because you can accentuate that. You know, a lot of men like lingerie. Some don't, but a lot of men like lingerie. You don't like lingerie because you feel like you don't look good in it. He does want it, so you're not doing it. Why?
I think lingerie is uncomfortable.
Well, that might be a reason too.
Who made lingerie?
You know, but it's like, okay, I'm not saying wear it every day, but why not? Well, because why not? Why not give him the Chick-fil-A? Why not accentuate what it is that he likes? Maybe he likes the look of your bosom. You want the rest of your body, but he loves the look of your bosom. Accentuate that. Make that the focus of whatever you wear when you go into the bedroom, because you know what he likes. Because it's about serving, right? All right. Flip side, man, because I just don't want to be one-sided.
Well, let me talk about that.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Man, don't wear the tighty whities with the holes in it. You know what I'm saying? You can invest in some new drawers. And I mean, it may not take as much for a man, but don't wear the holy drawers. Just don't put them in the trash. Buy you some nice boxers or whatever she likes. Wear whatever she likes to smell you in.
I hear a lot of hygiene too. Like,
yes, please be clean. I don't.
She's gonna be down there. Please be clean down there. Like, I'm just saying. I've heard people complain like he wants certain things down there and he expects it and he does nothing to make it a pleasant experience. Like, bruh, you gotta do. I'm just saying. If that's your bag, y'all gotta get that right.
No, you're right. I'm just saying. Well, yes,
we're adults,
yes,
right? We're
yes,
married
be
people.
clean.
Please be clean.
Be clean, and depending on what she's willing to do, you may need to groom a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just groom yourself, man. And she may be more willing to do things that you've been asking. Sometimes we want something, but we're not willing to make the environment hospitable for those things.
I like that.
So make it hospitable.
Mm-hmm.
And
at the same time, and it go out to the wives saying, there are certain things that y'all put focus on that he doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't want to have sex right now because, all right, we're adults. I don't want to do it because I haven't shaved in a while. If your man cares about that, I understand why you would say that. There are men who don't care. So if he doesn't care, why are you worried about it?
The lion sleeps tonight.
If he don't care, we good. There's nothing holding you back. You know?
Oh, Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, this is raw, but it's like the fact that we have to tiptoe around this and that we're uncomfortable about this in the body of Christ is part of the problem.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying we should be blasting this, you know, like getting deep tailored. We just did this last night. But I'm saying you should be able to at least talk with your spouse about these things openly.
Yeah.
Because like, look, what do you like? Let's make a list. You like these things? All right, I'm gonna work on that. Instead of admit, if your woman is not orgasming from the positions that you like to do, we'll find out. We got to try some new positions. We got to try some new activities. Okay? Look, I understand for women when it comes...
Be patient,
that
man.
too.
Be patient.
Yes, very much so. But I understand for women. I'm more gracious with women who don't want to do certain sexual acts because I feel like y'all go through a lot in life. So I'm very gracious. With men, I'm harder on y'all. If your woman likes you to do a certain thing, do it. You're a man. Man up and do it. Get it done. Okay, get in there and get it done. All right, if that's what she likes, especially if that helps her enjoy the experience. Again, it's about serving, right? I believe as a man, your focus should be to make sure that your wife has had the pleasant orgasmic experience before you focus on yourself. Let her focus on you, but you focus on her and put her first. Make sure she enjoys the entire experience, and then it's like, okay, now you can focus on me. We're going to take turns here. That's what I believe, because I believe a woman would be more interested in returning to this experience if she actually enjoyed the experience. And if you go a lot of times without her having that orgasmic experience, I would be researching like, okay, something's up. We need to figure this out. We need a little assistance here. Not from another human being, but I need to figure something out here. I'm going to do some research and figure out why this ain't working, and we're going to figure out how to make this work. Maybe some supplementation necessary.
Read some books, y'all. Read a book.
We're going to, matter of fact, let's take a break here and talk about our Audible. Perfect segue. Thank you, babe. audibletrial.com/Jalen and Casey. Cozy, if you could drop it in the chat. If you're watching on Instagram or TikTok, you're going to have to go to the link in our bio, come right back. But we're giving away, Audible's giving our listeners 30 days free
30 days
of Premium Plus Audible. Mm-hmm. And the reason we're talking about it today is, one, we want you to get it so we can get our commission, but also because there's a book on there. Now, this is what it'll look like. When you go click our link, audibletrial.com/Jalen and Casey, you'll be able to sign up, put your information in. You can listen on your watch, your phone, tablet, on your Echo device. You can listen anywhere, okay? Right? But there's a book right here, Sheet Music. This is by Kevin Leman. We listened to this early in our marriage, and this book went and talked pretty raw about sex, about sexual acts and things amongst Christian couples. And it was a man, he's a doctor, trying to help couples get through this, have discussions, restore pleasure, and be free in the bedroom together. Because if anybody should be free, it should be those of us who follow Jesus. So we should be free sexually, okay? So this book was great for that. It started some conversations for us. Some things he'll say will make you uncomfortable if you're really, prudish about these things, and that's fine, but you need to talk about these things. So if you need help having these conversations, you can watch this video with your spouse. You can listen to this book. So that is on Audible right now, and you can get it, all right? You may already have Audible, but look, if you have already used your credit for the month, but you still want to get this book, open a new account, get your audibletrial.com/Jalen and Casey, and get that book, and you and your spouse start listening. It can be very helpful. You learn a lot of things about your psyche, and it can help you communicate to your spouse. This is why I'm hesitant on these things. This is why I don't feel comfortable with these things. This is why I want these things. It's all helpful. So audibletrial.com/Jalen and Casey. If you're on YouTube, it's in the chat now. Hopefully Cozy dropped it. Yes, she did. Facebook, it's in the link to the left of the chat box. And it's in the description of the video, and all other streams, go to the link in our bio and you can get it. audibletrial.com/Jalen and Casey. We would love for you to have that.
Let's go hit the chats real quick. Let's see. We had someone jump in. Gurprov, I guess that's how you say it. Good morning. KDK said he better not go to another restaurant. We're talking about that. But hey, that's what we're talking about. Serve it up. Serve it up. Now, there is no reason. There is no reason. Yeah, that's a good t-shirt. Mm-hmm. There's no reason why your spouse should cheat on you. Mm-mm. Absolutely no reason. Okay, so there is never an excuse.
But don't starve your spouse.
Serve it up. You come into that restaurant, make it good every single time. You know what he like. Mm-hmm. KDK said, I often feel like we should pray before sex, but then after prayer, my husband is no longer in the mood because he says he feels some kind of way taking his clothes off now before God.
Newsflash, you're always before God.
God sees everything, and maybe your prayers are too long. I mean, listen, pray while you having sex, in the name of Jesus. I don't know.
I mean, look, I'm not going to say you have to pray before you have sex. I'm not going to say you can't. His concern, he's going to have to get over that because God sees everything. God invented sex. Everything. He wants y'all to have sex. He's watching every time they've ever had sex. So you got to get over that. But maybe that's not his bad for y'all to pray right before sex, whatever. Y'all figure it out. But
Cozy Crochet said, yes, check your hormones and vitamin levels. Some people have health problems because they lack certain vitamins and nutrients. That is absolutely. And most people, not just women, most people do not know what's going on with them internally. We don't know to check those things until something goes wrong, until we can visibly see or feel something. And by that time, it's usually way far too gone, or harder to reverse at that point. So stay on top of things. She said, Coach Crochet said, ladies, that means keep your rose toys off the internet. That has always creeped me out. Keep that stuff private.
Yes, keep it private.
Keep it private, y'all. Talking about pizza. Her favorite food was pizza. Her husband's sick of pizza.
Holy underwear is man's virgin lingerie.
Please, we don't need a peep
show. If there was man lingerie and my wife liked it, I'd wear it.
But no,
I would do whatever brought pleasure to her life.
No.
But no, holy underwear is not lingerie.
It's not.
Let's go chat. We got TikTok over here. TikTok, we have some interaction. We got Hoop for Jesus saying Jesus is the way. That was early on. Thank you for that. I already mentioned 3JS. Lucy Creations from Dominican Republic. Hey, thanks for being here. Minister Jarrett said, keep up the good work. Marlon dropped down and said, Jamaican food and Chinese was his favorite food. Cozy was pizza.
That sounds good.
Marlon asked what we were talking about. We're talking about sex. And Calm Delight Living said, I like the way you put that. I'm going to assume it was my Chick-fil-A example. But yes, whether it's pizza, Chinese food, Jamaican food, think of the food you love the most and imagine your spouse consistently told you, no, we can't eat that today forever. And just kept saying it over and over again. You would get mad at that spouse, right? And so there are some of you mad at your spouse right now because they're not serving it up. And spouse, you need to serve it up, okay? Y'all can compromise on what that looks like, what those servings look like.
I'm trying to see what the graphic would look like on a T-shirt. Serve it up.
It can get real sexual real fast, and it will be kind of inappropriate, but it is what it is. But also, Marlon, shout out to Marlon. You gave us 10 lightning bolts, 5 cake slices, and 5 GGs. So thank you. I believe that's a good game. Thank you so much. We got 3 follows off of this live stream. If you're following in TikTok, just let us know you're here. Let us know where you're watching from. What's your country origin? We appreciate y'all. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. TikTok been popping lately. Let me check the other YouTube real quick. No, we're good. Okay, so back to the discussion. So yes, we're talking about sex and practical sex tips as your bodies change, as life change. Okay. Look, again, we don't gotta know what's going on in your bedroom. Here's what I think. Don't bring anyone else involved, and that includes pornography. And whatever y'all do, let it be together. Yeah. I don't. Everybody got different opinions on this. I'm not into masturbation where y'all separate. Y'all need to be together. Yep. Y'all need to be together. Whatever's happening needs to be the two of you because that's what sexual intimacy is. It's drawing you together. It's not self-pleasure on your own. That's why I believe, watch the video we did of sexual templates, but you can make sex with your spouse masturbatory by focusing on yourself, making it about you, self-pleasure. It was invented for you to serve the other person. So put the focus on how can I serve you today? And for much of us, that starts before the bedroom. Husband, how can I serve my wife today? Yes, it'd be easy for me to say I can do it sexually, but how can I serve her today? How am I thinking about it? Can I buy her lunch? Can I can I cash out her some money so she can go to Starbucks? Can I bring some roses?
Cash
home?
at me, please.
Whatever. How can I serve her
today? Buy me
today?
Lunch, please.
What would she like? What would make her feel good?
Buy
a nice
me some
text.
Roses.
Wife, same thing throughout the day. How can I serve him? Would he like a picture of me? Y'all decide how y'all do that privately and securely, whatever like that. But,
I feel like we need to pull the Polaroid cameras out because I don't be trusting
there you go.
Technology these days. I'm sorry. You
there are secure messaging platforms now that y'all can make just between the two of y'all. That's what I would recommend. I wouldn't recommend texting that's unencrypted because you never know. Some of you might be like, it's just not worth it. I would say get an app that's got vanishing messages and that's encrypted. But if you're like, that's just not worth it, I understand. I'm not saying you got to do that. I'm just saying find out what your spouse likes and compromise on some things. Mm-hmm. We talked about weight gain. We talked about limited pleasure. We talked about lingerie. And consider it an investment. You got to understand something. It's not wasted time. You're investing in your relationship with this person and make it fun. Sometimes we make sex too serious. Have fun. Laugh. Like this isn't that serious. Like let's enjoy each other. Let's talk about it. Like, okay, yeah, that was working.
Yeah,
because
if you're trying, especially when you're trying new things, it may not work out the first few times. But be, like I said, be lighthearted about it. Don't make it so serious. Because, I mean, remember, you're in this for the long haul. You ain't going nowhere.
Exactly right.
And we have eternity to get this right.
Yep.
So just make it fun. You know, don't put so much pressure on it. And there might be moments where, you know, you may not get an orgasm, woman or man, whatever the case may be. Don't make it such a big deal.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit. Yeah.
You know, because sometimes there are a lot of reasons why you didn't have an orgasm. Sometimes our mental is not there. Sometimes our bodies are tired. And remember, it is a muscle. It's a reactive muscle. Sometimes that muscle is tired. For whatever reason it is. Doesn't mean that something's wrong with you all the time. It's just that today wasn't the day. But being together in an intimate way means more than just the outcome. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes we have sex with one another just for the orgasm, just for that. And if I don't orgasm, then this was bad sex. No, this is a time of us fellowshipping together, being intimate with one another, getting closer to one another, just being physical, being next to each other. It's not just about orgasm. Yes, that is nice. And when it happens, it's great. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't ruin our sexual intimacy, because intimacy is not just about the reaction that we can get.
And for men, although it's usually easy to orgasm, but the focus is on getting there. Like, we haven't had sex until that has happened. And it's like, no. And again, I'm not going to get graphic here, things like that. But there are times when I've initiated with you where for me, the focus was on just being with you, just being close, being touching. And I wasn't concerned with that, you know, and I would say take your mind off of that, because I'm not here for me. I'm here for you. I'm here for us. Yeah. This experience together, you know, and enjoy the moment, you know. I'm one of those people that enjoys the moment of it, you know. I've never been about rushing towards orgasm or anything like that for myself. I've always been about focusing on it for you. But for me, it's always just, I just want to enjoy the moment. I want to enjoy being with you. I like your body. I like looking at your body. I like touching your body. You know, I want to just experience the entire moment and let this go on for as long as it possibly can, you know. But sometimes you tend to marry the person who's opposite of that. And that's where the conflict comes in.
Yeah.
But play, induce laughter. If orgasm is a problem where it's just never happening, then figure it out. You know, find out. And sometimes that shifts over time. The quality of the sex shifts over time. Again, we talk about health and everything, but figure it out. You know, don't make it where it's like, oh, we just don't know how to make this happen. Make sure you know how to make it happen. Again, like you said, it doesn't have to be the focus of every session together, but make sure that it's something that we can do when we need to do it.
Yeah.
Let's figure out how to make this muscle work. And give yourself grace as the seasons change.
That's the biggest thing.
Like
grace is everything.
You give yourself grace. You have kids, you get busy, time, effort. Give yourself grace. And again, don't let the world's standards of what sex is supposed to look like inform you. It's weird when I see people watching shows like, oh, and I'm gonna go recreate this with my spouse. You think, well, that should be great, right? That should be fun. Here's my issue with that. We lean on everyone else creating fantasy and creativity for us. But you gotta understand, whether it was pornography, a movie, a TV show, or a book, or a magazine, human beings created every sexual position and act that we do now. And so somebody without third-party content came up with this stuff. Why can't you? Why can't y'all block out all the noise and figure out something that works for you? Invent something for yourself that's unique to you, rather than trying to find somebody else's standard, someone else's template, and trying to mimic that and then being mad because you can't meet the standard.
Yeah.
This is y'all. Y'all got creative minds. Y'all got parts that work. If you've got parts that work, you got parts that work. Make it happen. Figure out what works for you. It doesn't matter if it looks great to somebody else. You're not putting this nowhere for nobody else to see, right?
Right.
It's just between the two of you. No one's going to see this.
No OnlyFans pages.
Yeah. It's just the two of you. So it doesn't matter if it's what everyone else is doing. It doesn't matter if anyone ever knows. This is y'all private secret. This is y'all secret place. And what y'all come up with, what y'all like, that's between the two of you. Yeah. Don't nobody else got to know. Nobody else need to know. Okay? And it's like, okay, well, how do we get started? How do we figure this out? Well, let's say this. How about you go to your spouse and ask them, when it comes to the bedroom, what's one thing I could do for you intimately that you've been asking for, that you've been wanting, that I've just been kind of not listening to or whatever? What's one thing? And hear them. And maybe it has to be discussion. Maybe it has to be some compromise or whatever. But hear them and then say, okay, I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to see if I can procure that for you. I'm going to see if I can perform that for you. I'm going to see if we can do that together. Just try. Just try. And don't just try it once and then be like, okay, we're done. Like,
I mean, and sometimes like make it a game. There are a lot of things, and I think we're going to approach this topic again in the near future, and we'll probably have some more resources for you all because sometimes people just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And it's not a matter of them not wanting. It's just they don't know what to do. It could be very awkward. There was never taught that. Most of us can honestly say that our parents didn't teach us how to have sex.
Yeah.
That might have been weird anyway. But outside of having the talk of how babies are made and stuff like that, no one ever sat down and told us.
No one explained orgasm. No one explained pleasure. No one explained serving your spouse.
You just learned it and you stumble upon it and you just kind of, okay.
They said, this is what this is. Don't touch it.
Yeah, exactly.
That was it.
But there are a lot of resources, godly resources, things that can help us initiate conversation, initiate positions or whatever.
No, seriously, there's an app called Ultimate Intimacy. And that app has a lot of resources in there. There's another website, it's Christian Sex Positions, I think it might be called. And what they do is they don't get graphic, they make stick figures. And it's clear like the blue one is a man, the pink one is a woman. And it has a list, like it's almost like flashcards. You guys, you order the physical flashcards, but it's like, these are sex positions, this is how to do them. And so y'all can try to spice things up, or you can say, is this what you would like? Let's try that.
And make a game out of it.
Exactly.
Every time it's okay, this time we're going to pick a card.
Yep.
And we're going to try. Depends on who you are. Make it fun. Again, keep it light. Because the less stress you bring into the bedroom, the better your sexual intimacy will be.
Success isn't doing it like someone else does it. Success isn't, the greatest body shaking orgasm you ever had. Success is we were together and it was fun.
And just like the gym, consistency matters. Then your frequency may be different from another couple's frequency. That's another thing. We got a lot of things. You should have this many times a week, this many times a month. Find your pace. Yeah. All right. And agree upon it and be happy with it. But nonetheless, make it consistent, because consistency is what makes this thing work. Not perfection, consistency.
When it comes to frequency of sex, that's going to change all throughout the marriage. Like we said, it's cool if you schedule like, hey, this is when we're going to do it, because if we don't put on a schedule, we're just never going to have sex ever. So kids, stuff like that, this is our day. We're going to have sex on these days. But especially as you progress in marriage, I wouldn't get bent out of shape on how often, because you'll depress yourself and you read people on the internet saying, we do it 3 times a week. We do it every day. Whatever. And it's like, dang, we do it once a month. Don't stress out. Focus on the quality of those moments together. Because what will also happen is some people have overscheduled lives where scheduling sex is just one more thing. It's because one more thing to schedule. So you got to know you, right? And so it becomes one more thing to schedule. Then I hate sex even more. So it has to be a little bit more, we move into the moment. So you got to find that balance, right? But don't get so bent out of shape on the frequency and just focus on the quality of the moment. Because if you enjoy the quality of the moment, it's like, I had fun doing this. Like, what do you enjoy doing with your spouse? You enjoy going out to dinner? You enjoy watching a movie? What are those moments where it's like, I like being with you. I remember why I like you. You want to make sexual intimacy one of those things. Sometimes you don't start with, we're going straight into penetration today. We're going straight into sexual acts and orgasm today. It may just be, hey, we're going to make out today. We're just going to fill up on each other today. We're just going to kiss today. We're just going to cuddle today. And it's like, you start with, it's like, well, that's not really sex. Well, you get to define what that is for you guys.
All of it works.
You get to define that. Again, we're not worried about what everyone else says. Everyone else says sex is one thing. It is intimacy. It is getting to know one another. And when y'all can physically be together in each other's presence and not hate each other, you're making progress. And so it may be, hey, we're not scheduling to have sex. I'm not in the mood, whatever like that. Because if you let mood dictate, then your moods may never ever align. But we're just going to be in each other's presence. We're just going to like each other. We're going to talk. We're going to be close. We're going to hold hands. We're going to kiss. We're going to touch and let things progress. Maybe progress is to full on intercourse. Maybe that's all it is. But if we can just enjoy each other once again, like we did when we were dating, you're building something new here. And you don't know where it's necessarily going to end. But you're not rushing it either. Because again, we've got all our lives to do this. So, don't put the pressure on you after watching this video of like, okay, we gotta go get some sex on the calendar. We gotta make this work. It's gotta be fun. It's about that. Like, build. Let it build.
Let it build.
Let it build.
I mean, every gym session is not always the best. But the idea is that I showed up for the day.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
And I did something, because something is better than nothing.
Exactly.
And again, consistency outweighs motivation all the time.
Yep.
So showing up for your marriage is really what it's all about. educate yourself, learn, and definitely pray about it. Praying before sex, KDK, is not a bad idea. God shall always be the center of your entire life, even your sex life. I do know there are a few people that I encountered that felt like that God and sex didn't go together, and that God wasn't interested in their sexual pleasure. But it's like, why wouldn't he be? He created it.
Yeah.
And if you believe God sees all and knows all, please, like, the bedroom door closed is not keeping God's eyes out. God knows before you know what's going to go down. So don't feel ashamed to put God in the middle of it, because he wants to be in the middle of it all. And however you do that, that's up to you guys, but lose the shame, ladies and men, but women especially. Lose the shame. And it's a decision, it's a choice. And let's get out of our psychology bag. Let's get out of our mental way. Just do it. Say, God, give me the grace. Just do it. Try something new. And if it's something that you need to work on yourself, security-wise, you need to work on yourself. Don't punish your spouse. Do not show up. Do not show up for your sexual life just because you're dealing with insecurity. That's being selfish. Don't nurse that insecurity. Overcome it.
Amen.
And it may take time, but be pursuing in overcoming that insecurity. If it's your body and you feel like I'm too overweight, I want to lose some weight, then lose the weight. Because to the man, it's going to feel like, well, babe, if that's your problem, if you're mad about how big you are, then do something about it. And see, in his mind, it's frustrated. And though he may not understand all of the reasons of why and the insecurities that's tied to it, but to him, it's like, you don't care because you're not doing anything. If you're complaining that it's your weight, okay, let's fix it.
If you're complaining that it's all the stuff you have to do in the day and you don't make an adjustment because sex is important to me, then that means you don't care about me.
Yeah, and that's what it communicates to him, that you don't care about him. Now, that may not be the case for you, but if that's always the argument, well, I don't like how my body looks. He's like, well, babe, I'm telling you I like it. I'm okay with it. Well, I don't like it. It's about me. It's about me. It's about me. Then he said, well, fix you then. Yeah. Then fix you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had to decide that, listen, this is my thick season. I'm in my thick season right now. It is what it is. All right. And I am working my way through it. But until I get to where I think I need to be or whatever, I am not going to deny my husband. I'm not going to be down on myself. I'm going to wear the clothes. Like, I'm going to be comfortable where I am at. I'm not going to just lock myself up, because I know that if I do that, I'm going to have more freedom and I'm going to have more authority and power to overcome this if I find the peace where I'm at right now. This is where I'm at right now. Okay? Yep. I was looking at some pictures the other day. I'm saying, man, girl, when I get down to that size, people are going to think I took the shot. They're going to think I took the shot. I promise you. But it's like, but I'm okay. I'm okay where I'm at right now. I really am, because I'm working on something. And my health spiritually and mentally means more to me than anything else. And as I get those things in alignment, my body will follow. And now that I have the tools now, sometimes we just don't have the tools. We're working against ourselves because we don't have the tools. Our hormones aren't where they're supposed to be. Our nutrition is not where it needs to be. Our mental health is not where it needs to be. But all we're doing is trying to pursue the aesthetic, and we don't have what it takes to even get there. Yeah. So we're at a loss here. Yeah. But now that I have what it takes, now I have grace. I have grace for myself now. And it is what it is. But if I never make it, here's the thing. If I never make it, guess what? I'm getting a new body anyway. Glory to God.
Glory to God.
Glory to God. I'm getting a new one anyway. All the wrinkles, all the dimples, all the dips will be not there. So, I mean, glory to God. I know Jesus, and that matters more than anything else.
Got some chat.
All right. So, I like what Coach said. He said, yes, send a Polaroid, please. Send
by carrier pigeon. That can get intercepted. My issue with Polaroids is someone can find those. If you don't store, your kids can find them when they open the wrong box. I think vanishing messages are better because then no one can ever get them. But,
that's what they tell us anyway.
But
let's see. We have a Nicole HM4BG.
say Nicole.
Well, listen, I wanted the whole name. Nicole. So I'm a Christian woman, a worship director. My husband and I didn't have sex until our wedding night. This is horrible, but I don't feel that mental urge or attraction to want to because of his size.
Okay.
All right.
Well, something I got to work on then.
Yeah.
I mean, look, being honest is half the battle.
Yeah.
Right? So that's
Yeah.
where you are. So see, this does go both ways, right? We always put it on the men versus women, but it can go the other way too. All right. So, I mean, well, I'll put since you're a woman, I guess I'll let you advise that one. But if there is a attraction thing that's keeping you, although I do have something to say about this, but go ahead first.
Well, I guess I'm curious as to, was he this size when y'all got married? I mean, was this a issue for you before you got married? And why did you marry him with this being an issue? Or did you not think it was going to be?
Well, here's the thing. I'm kind of glad you asked that. I did a series a long time ago on this channel called How I Got Attracted to My Wife Again, something like that. And I don't talk about it much till so long ago. But there was a point after we got married, not long after we got married, we had a lot of issues in our marriage, but where it just felt like my attraction for you was gone. It wasn't even that your body changed that much, because you're pretty much the same from when we got married, because it was pretty early on. But and I was like, what is going on right now? But I just did not feel like I was attracted to you the way I was before we got married. And so, you asked that question. I think someone asked a question in one of those videos, well, like, why'd you marry her if you felt that way? I was like, are you not paying attention to what I said in the video? I was attracted to her when I married her, but something changed afterward. And so I got before the Lord about it. It's a pretty good series, 3 videos on it. But I began to talk to myself differently and began to make myself see you differently. And I've had that issue in years and years and years. It was a very short period of time. But in those videos, I talk about the changing your mental image and changing the way you confess and getting over the offenses you have about your spouse that kind of contribute to that. But deciding that you are mine and I love you, I'm going to love you as you are. And you can actually train yourself to do that. Like, you can make yourself see whatever you want to see, believe whatever you want to believe. I'm on TikTok all the time. People believe the wildest things. So you can actually transform that. I'm going to see if I can find that, because if so, I might go in and drop the link for Nicole there.
And also, I want to challenge the mental side of this, because I'm going to assume that because you said this is horrible because I don't feel that mental urge or attraction to want to because of his size. I'm going to assume that he was this size before y'all got married. I don't know how long you've been married. Maybe it's not so much the size as much as, how can I put this? I'm going to say this. I'm a quirky person. All right. I have a lot of little quirks and tics and things, that sounds and smells and certain sensations just bother me. If I let it get out of control, like it would just bother me. And that can literally be a turn off to me. As much as I love my husband, there are things that he does that when he does it, it's like, I don't like you. Because it just annoys me so much. And that's something based off of my mental map, my brain chemistry, right? Not to put labels out there. Could it be some of that as well? Maybe you don't know that to be the case for you, but it could be that as well. Because I am curious, why would you marry someone if you, and I'm not trying to come down on you, I'm just trying to understand.
Well, again, that's like I just said, I don't think it's necessarily, I think it happens after. Yeah. Again, that's what happened to me. I just dropped the video in the
I'm just
chat.
saying sometimes it could be tied up because this is a good person. I love them. I was attracted to them in the beginning. But we didn't have sex before we was married. And now that we're having sex, now I'm realizing.
I love him and didn't think it would be an issue and want to trust God in that area. To be honest, I could be traumatized that I gain weight, and it's really difficult now. Traumatized that you gain weight. It's really difficult now.
So there's an offense somewhere. Okay.
Yeah. I love him and didn't think it would be an issue and wanted to trust God in that area, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. All right, yeah, watch my series. So In that series, what I did was it was 3 videos, and I'm starting to remember. It was so long ago, I kind of forgot what I went through there. But it was 3 videos. It was called "How to Be Attracted to Your Wife Again." But this is why she worked both ways, so you should be good if you start that series. But it's 3 videos, and the first one was pursue your wife. Because it was 3 steps to this: pursue your wife. And what I had to do,
in your case, pursue your husband.
Yeah, pursue your husband. But I had to purposefully just pursue you, because the thing, I wasn't going to marry anybody else. I wasn't going to go look for somebody else to be with, and this comes from being a believer and walking by faith, but I knew that if I was attracted to you at one point, I could be attracted to you again. Yeah. And if I turn my attention to somebody else, I could be attracted to somebody else. So why would I waste time doing that? I'm going to put that on effort into my wife. So I began to pursue you on purpose. Yeah. I didn't make it about the physical attraction what my eyes were seeing. I began to pursue you on purpose. And once we got to our newlywed struggles, I do think some of it was the attitude that you had, because we were both unhappy when we first got married. There's a lot of stuff that we went through, and being able to dig into it. But at the time, I didn't know that. But I made a decision. I'm going to pursue you as if like we were dating. Like I was going to do things for you, buy you things, love on you, make an effort, even if I had an offense against you because I felt like you weren't doing that towards me. So I began to pursue you on purpose. Then the second step was staying consistent with it. I couldn't just stop doing it because I wasn't seeing results immediately, you know? And so I began to stay consistent with what I was doing with my pursuit of you, as if I was trying to win you over. And a lot of times husbands feel like they don't have to do that because I've got you now. I'm married. We're married together now. That should be enough. I shouldn't have to put any more effort into pursuing you and dating you. But I decided I'm going to be consistent with this as if I'm trying to win you over. And I did. And then the final thing was say what God says. And so I said, okay, this is my wife. We're supposed to be one flesh. This is what I'm here to do. So I've got to be one flesh. So I'm going to say the good things about you. I'm going to read Song of Solomon passages and confess that to myself about you. I'm going to say the right things. I'm going to use my words to change what it is that I've been seeing and change my belief system. And it wasn't long before things changed. And I haven't had that issue since. I love you all up and down, whatever size you are, is, wasn't, will be.
Yeah, it doesn't change again, anything. Like we've been talking about this whole time. I don't know how long you've been on the stream, but it's going to take you pursuing, seek God about this. He will give you the answers. He is the answer as to why you feel this way. And if it's something in you, it's always us. I'm be honest, it's always us. God can give you eyes for your spouse. I know we talked about this a lot on this channel. God will give you eyes for your spouse, no matter where he or she is in their weight or the fitness journey or whatever health condition they may be dealing with. God will give you eyes, and that's a supernatural thing that God can do just for you if you want it, if you seek it. And God will unearth the things in you that's causing this to be an issue for you. He will reveal it to you if you really want it. You mentioned that it is because of your weight gain. Where is that coming from? You know, what standard are you holding yourself to that says that now that I've gained weight, then I'm traumatized by it? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we judge people. We judge individuals that gain weight. Mm-hmm. We assume certain things about them that's not correct. And now that we're in their position, it's kind of hard to reconcile that with ourselves.
I'm going to go back. It's been so long since I made that video. It's so long since I've been in that mindset. But when I made it, I knew it was important, especially for men. I knew there's a lot of men that happened to, but they would just go off and cheat or be like, their wife let themselves go and move on. I didn't want that, so I went through that process. I'm going to go back and rewatch that series because it may be a good topic to talk about and teach live on the air. Because if you've never been through that, if you never had that experience, it's kind of hard to understand. And I appreciate you being brave enough to put that out there. Because a lot of people are ashamed to even say that because they feel bad because they know they shouldn't feel this way. Your spouse is a good spouse. They're a good person, you know, but a lot of times for men, what they'll say is, well, she let herself go. She's not what she used to be. I love her. She's a good mom, but it's just, I'm just not feeling the attraction anymore. And we get stuck there and we feel bad about it. So we either don't talk about it or we shame our spouse for not keeping themselves up. And we put the pressure on them. Well, if you would try a little harder, give me something to look forward to when I get home, then the attraction would be there. But you got to understand that the mind is fickle, you know. It can go through things from a biological and from a spiritual standpoint. The mind is fickle and you have to train your mind. You have to renew your mind to the things of God. And we will do that with finances. We'll do that with health. We'll do that with faith, but we won't do it with practical things like the attraction we have between our spouse. And a lot, again, we have these fantasies we built from the world system. We feel like, well, it should just be natural. If I'm not naturally attracted to you, it's because something you did, or I should never got with you and it's my fault and we don't need to be together. And we just leave it at that. And it's like, no, the same word that can heal a body and restore a limb when it wasn't there, the same word that can do that can transform your mind towards your spouse.
Amen.
And you have to see it as an attack from the enemy to try to make you not be cleaving to your spouse. And the fact that it keeps you from wanting to have sex, well, that's definitely an assault of the enemy, because cleaving together is not only an instruction, but it is a way to bind you to your spouse together to actually make you feel good things for each other. So I'm going to rewatch that series, get myself back in that mindset, and maybe we'll talk about that. What happens when you don't feel the attraction towards your spouse? That's important.
She just commented and said, I'm traumatized by the times we tried to be intimate in my new weight gain that I thought maybe it's also because of his size, which that makes me not want to try it all now. So now it's like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was easier because he was the heavier one, and you could be the, I'm going to say for lack of a better term, the more flexible, maneuverable one in the situation. Now both of you are in a situation where you're less probably, flexible and can move. Now you're feeling a certain way about that.
All right. I mean, this might be a little raw or whatever, but when we first got married, like I said, we did build newlywed struggles, but our intimacy was lacking because it just felt like we weren't connecting. And it just felt like, and I mean, look, this is going to be awkward for anybody who's virgins and getting married, never had sex before, trying to figure out positions, trying to make everything fit. And it just seemed like things weren't working right. Yeah. And so it was a little difficult for us. And so when that happens, it makes you want to not do it. But how do you fix it? You got to keep doing it. And over time, from a practical standpoint, we began to figure it out, right? And I remember early on in our marriage, the first time we had a good sexual session where you were satisfied and it went well and everything. And it was I'm not gonna say what you said, but a certain phrase you said that was funny, made me feel good, but it was like, okay, we finally got our rhythm. But it took time to do it and we couldn't give up on it.
Yeah.
All right. Then when we had our son, it took us some time before we could sexually reconnect again. There was just some, I'll let you get to any kind of detail you want to get on that.
Ain't none of y'all business.
But it wasn't like just a quick bounce back on that.
No, it wasn't a bounce back at all.
And so that was a struggle. And I was very patient about it, but it was bothering you.
Well, it was a mental blockage, and it was some physical things as well that I was dealing with that was beyond the normal range of when you should be able to have sex after giving birth, things like that. So, and then that played on my mental as well. So it was a lot of things working against me, it seemed like, but we couldn't give up on our intimacy because those things were presenting an issue. But it's the pursuing of it. Yeah. And you got to find a way. So now you're at a size that is prohibiting you from being what you were before. Okay, we're here now.
Yep.
All right. So now that just means I'm going to have to dig deep and figure it out.
Maybe all right.
Literally, like, figure it out. Don't just say, well, no, we can't have sex, or it just can't happen. And now you're just feeling this shame, guilt, condemnation. Understand that condemnation is not from God. That is Satan. All right. Get him out of your bedroom. He don't belong there.
Amen.
All right. Because when you let the freedom of God reign, the answers will come. The solution will come. And even if that solution is, we need to lose a little weight, baby, we need to get healthy, okay? But God will give you the wisdom on how to pursue it the right way for y'all, okay? Because your situation is not like everybody else's.
Yeah.
Because where freedom reigns, answers will always be there. You will have the grace to walk this season out in your life. God will give you the eyes for your spouse, and it'll be a time of victory instead of condemnation and stress and worry and all those things.
I want you to visualize like this. There's a stronghold. There's a building you're trying to get into, a stronghold, military stronghold, and there's a treasure in there. And call this y'all sexual unity and pleasure. And the devil wants to get you out. So he's firing arrows at you, and those arrows are mental darts based on your previous experiences. Y'all need to go in that bedroom, shut that door, and say, no, devil, you're not having this. Yep. We ain't getting off this bed until we find out what works for us. What position, what acts. Maybe we can't do this like we used to do, but we're going to do this instead. And we're going to figure this out, because I refuse to allow my body or the devil to tell me what I can and can't have, what I can and can't enjoy. You may need to lose some weight, whatever, fine. But you can have sex now and have pleasurable sex at the weight you are. If you believe that we can make this work, we're going to make this work where we are, and then we're going to move toward better. But we're not going to settle for we can't have this. And I'm not saying that to, like, I'm being rough with you because you just need to do this. This is how rough you need to be with you and yourself and say, no, this is what we're going to have. I refuse to let my feelings dictate to me what I am not gonna have. Okay, because you obviously want something better, otherwise you wouldn't be here. But you're gonna have to push for it and fight for it. Michelle said, I do know the enemy would like for me to be in this state. I'm 35. We got married a year ago. I want to get pregnant so bad, but now having this issue, I'm determined to get the victory. Amen. Then fight for it. You got it. And you can have it.
Be determined.
Yep.
Don't be determined. Be tenacious about getting the results. But don't have look. God is awesome. He's a miracle worker, and God can do anything, even when it doesn't look like it's possible. Yep. All right. Don't let your weight, his weight, be a stumbling block. Give it to the Lord. Cast the care over unto the Lord. Whatever the answer is, God will reveal it to you. And you may need to lose some weight. He may need to lose some weight. I don't know y'all like that and don't care. But don't let your weight be a weight in this scenario. You cast it over to the Lord and let him walk you out. He's a good shepherd. He knows exactly what you need, how you need it. All right?
All right. And I'm going to send you this too, because I just caught what you said. You said y'all been married for a year. So I'm sure you're like, why is this happening so early on?
Oh, my gosh.
Newlywed struggles, girl. I'm dropping you this thing right here. So she said she's 35. That's around, you got married at 34.
Yep, I was 34 when
so
I got
your
married.
story, there's an age gap between us, but beyond that part, your story probably matches up a few things with us. We were virgins. Y'all didn't have sex till y'all got married. We didn't have sex till our wedding night. We did a whole video, even that. We went through some stuff for our intimacy and everything when it came to our marriage. So I just dropped another video called Newlywed Struggles. There are 3 videos in that series, but that we talk about how we got married and immediately had problems with intimacy, communication, trust, and we were like, what is going on? We didn't have a honeymoon phase. It was sad, but our marriage got better afterward. So it sounds like you're having a similar situation where you didn't get the chance to have that honeymoon phase. You're probably wondering, did I marry the wrong person? What is going on? You didn't. You just got hit with the same devil we got hit with.
Yep.
But we won. You can win too. But I'm glad you shared that, because now you know there's somebody that's been through what you've been through. Pretty much exactly. So you got my video I just dropped from my series, but then you also watch Newlywed Struggles to get from both of us, because we was going through it. And you can see how young we look back then. That was like
how
6 years ago.
Right. It's been a minute.
Yeah, we look good. Minute. All right. So I think that's the video for today.
We got about 12 minutes.
Well, it's a good topic. We spent the first hour talking about just health, and then we start talking about sex. So that makes a good topic, right? Thank you for everyone for being here today.
Well, let's talk about those channel memberships.
Yeah. So let's talk about the channel memberships, because we're doing a series on, not a series. We're doing a training later this month. Let me pull it up so we can talk about it. Channel memberships. Let's go. All right, Marriage U. All right. So you're asking, what is Marriage U? What is that? That is the School of Marriage. Okay. So we've created something here with courses and trainings and courses that teach you principles of marriage so that you can succeed. All right. This is our premium content. So when you pay for Marriage U through YouTube or Facebook, you get access to all these trainings. So we've got lots of things in there. We got the Age Gap Marriage Survival Guide. We got Death to Pornography. We've got the Invincible Marriage training. We've got the Reignite Sexual Intimacy training. We've got the communication training we did last month called Eye to Eye. Every month we do a new training. And so you get access to all these archive trainings that are in there. Everything you see here plus more. And it only costs $2.99 a month. All right. So you can sign up through YouTube or you can sign up through Facebook. It's on both platforms. So Cozy, if you can drop the links in the chat, you could and drop the link tree as well, Cozy, because if you're a Facebook user, you might want to do it there. If you're a YouTube user, you want to do it here. But you can click that link, become a channel member for $2.99. That's what we set it at. YouTube may have jacked it up if you're on an iPhone or if you're in a different country. But if you scan those QR codes or click the links in the chat right now, you can get access to Marriage U and get all those trainings we just mentioned. The School of Marriage, $2.99 a month. This is the Netflix of marriage. But Thursday, March 26th, 7 p.m. Eastern, we're doing a live training called Build Your Marriage Plan. So we're going to be here live. It's going to be members only for everyone in part of Marriage U. And we're going to sit down and work with you on how to set out a marriage plan, how to sit down on paper. Because one thing we find is communication is lacking in relationships. But not only that, but there's vision lacking in marriages. Yep. And so people actually truly just do not know why we're married. What is our purpose? And the one thing that kept us together when we were in our newlywed struggles that we were still pushed through is that we knew we had a purpose to be married. Yeah. And it gave us an engine to want to fix our problems. Sometimes people have problems in their marriage, but they don't even know why they should want to. What's the point? Why should I bother investing in this and fixing it? Why not just divorce? Well, it's easy to do that if you don't know the purpose for your marriage, if you don't have a vision, if you don't know where you're going. And so we're going to show you how to write down. You're going to write it down like whatever your family name is. It's like ours is Barnes. It's going to be like Barnes Inc. This is the business of our marriage. This is why God put us together. This is our purpose. Yep. This is our vision. In 10, 20 years, this is a plan of where we want to be. In 5 years, this is how we're going to get there. And starting today, this is step one. And we're going to do this. And you're going to learn how to set assignments and tasks and be able to review. It was I think the previous year, wasn't this past year, I had a slideshow where I sat with my wife and said, this is the fruit that we bore in 2024. This is what we accomplished. And it's what we're going to do in the next year. Right. And you could do that. You may say that seems like a lot, but the people who don't invest in the vision of their marriage don't know where they're going. Yep. And so y'all wake up one day and look at each other like, I don't even know why we're together. Well, maybe we should just stop because you don't know where you're going. And so you can't navigate the storms of marriage. There are storms where your sex is dry. There are storms where your connection just feels like it's not there. Mm-hmm. There are storms where your health comes under attack. There are storms where your finances are under attack, where it's high stress.
Where your fertility comes under attack.
And when you go through those things, it is having a marriage plan that keeps you going and saying, this is hard, but we can make it through this storm. This is temporary. We can overcome the enemy and we can survive and thrive because we know where we're going and we see the enemy's plot to destroy not just us, but what this marriage can do for the world. Yeah. And so you need a marriage purpose, you need a marriage plan. So we're going to show you how to do that in this training.
Because without vision, the people perish.
They do.
Your marriage will perish without vision. Yep. And I have to tell you, be honest, it's the vision of our marriage that keeps me fighting for it.
Yep. Exactly.
It keeps me fighting for it every single day. It allows me to have the proper boundaries because I'm so invested in the vision of our marriage and it coming to pass that I will have the proper boundaries. I will fight for it. I'm not going to have a lackluster marriage. And I will do whatever it takes to make sure that we are healthy and we are thriving and we're doing what the plan of God is for our lives because I see the vision. Amen. I know where we're going and I like what it looks like. And I want to be there. I want to live there. Okay. Yep. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to make that happen. So y'all need to be on that Thursday, March 26th training at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And look, $2.99 is such a small investment that's going to gain you such a bigger harvest. Amen. Like you need to invest in your marriage. Again, it's the Netflix of marriage. Look, Netflix and chill has ruined a lot of marriages, but this will help.
What have you doing with your spouse?
With your spouse.
You're doing something you ain't supposed to be
doing. True. But, this is an investment and it definitely will help you. Nicole said something else. She said he's not overweight, but he's 6'6" and fine, and he's 5 years younger, I guess, than her.
Oh, y'all story years ago encouraged me. Okay, so you know our story. Yeah. Okay.
Well, then,
wait, so you were aware of us before you got married? Because you said our story years ago encouraged you, but you just got married last year. Mm-hmm. Interesting. That's an interesting scenario. We have a few people who came across when they were single and then got married afterward. All right. Well, this show is for y'all, and I hope you can get your husband to watch it with you. Some future episodes or previous things that we've made, things like that. But yeah, you got hope. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be just fine. You're gonna be just fine. You'll be all right.
Use the word, girl. You got this.
You're gonna be just fine. But okay. So yeah, it's time for Marriage You. Because y'all need to know how to make a marriage plan. We're gonna you can write this down. It's gonna be good stuff. So that's later on this month. I think I have some more free memberships to give away. What I realize is when I do the giveaways, they don't go to who's in the chat. It just goes to whoever subscribes to the channel. So that's the only problem when I do the giveaways and the memberships. Sometimes.
I know that sucks.
Yeah, because I would love to get to everybody in the chat.
YouTube needs to change that so I can choose who I give it to.
Exactly. But if you got your thing turned on to receive gifts, then you can do that. So on one of these future chats, I'll give away some more memberships, and hopefully somebody who wants it will get it. But we encourage you to sign up, Facebook or YouTube. And again, if you're watching on like TikTok or Instagram, you gotta go to the link in our bio. That's where you'll find it. We got a link tree. You'll see all the links to sign up. But we encourage you to be there. It's gonna be a lot of fun because we will only stream exclusive to the Marriage U channel members on YouTube and Facebook. We will not stream on other platforms.
We're at the end of this podcast now. We forgot to mention our channel goal, and that is if you do a super chat, you have the ability to choose our next topic of discussion. We only 5 minutes, be 5 minutes to the podcast ending. But if you're in the room and you want to have a particular topic discussed, and go ahead and do a super chat, and we will.
And if you're on TikTok and you send a gift, it counts the same. So on Facebook, it's stars. On TikTok, it's the gifts. On YouTube, it's the super chat. Or if you're watching replay, super thanks. But drop that. We'll see it. And you can suggest a topic for us to talk about next. Because we've had some good topics from people who have donated super chat. And we talked some great topics. So if you've given a gift today on one of the other platforms and you want to do that, then go ahead, drop a super chat. Or if you did a gift already, go ahead and drop another comment saying what you want the topic to be, and we'll take it under consideration. So far, y'all dropped nothing but good ideas, and we've been able to do them all. We have not had anybody drop anything that was weird that we couldn't talk about.
Exactly.
But I think we had fun today. It was good. I didn't even get a chance to get on Song of Solomon, but I think that's fine. I'm sure we'll talk about this again.
Oh, yeah.
Some other time.
Because like communication, sex is definitely a big topic in marriage.
Yeah. And we suffer in silence so much. There are a lot of sexist marriages, and it's sad. And it affects husbands, affects wives, and it's just sad because it shouldn't have to be that way. It's one of the greatest expressions of physical expression of your love for one another. It's not the only one, but it's an important one. And it shouldn't disappear for no reason, right? It's worth fighting. I heard someone say this, that as a doctor, they said if you're not horny, you're not healthy. So they're saying from a biological standpoint, if you just lost your drive for sex, there's something going on in your health that needs to be fixed. Absolutely. I don't know if that's 100% true or not, but I would think that probably makes sense that, from a biological standpoint, the desire to procreate should always be there. And if it leaves, then something's going on. And you shouldn't just ignore that. But it's like, it's so important to us, but then we also downplay it and say, well, it's not a big deal when it disappears, Well,
because we put so many other things ahead of it that seem to be more important.
Exactly.
So we just put it in the background and we never attend to it.
Exactly. And we do that with all our health. I mean, we break down, we just say, I'll put something else in front of it. I'll put the kids in front of it. And it's like, you're dying on the vine. It doesn't have to be that way. So sex is important to God. He got a whole book on it. And it needs to be important to us too.
Amen.
All right. So thank you everyone who watched. I think we covered most of the chats. TikTok, we had 3JS was saying there are ways around size, teach each other. Yeah, man. Lock that door and make it work. And 3JS said if they were not having sex before, then she didn't know that she would have a problem with it. Yeah, that happens. But there is something that, like in that series I talked about, where you were attracted and then something happened afterward and it's like something went wrong and you're trying to figure it out and you feel bad about it. But I'll do a video on that coming up soon. So yeah, we'll be back on Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Amen.
With another episode. Don't know what the topic is yet, but we'll announce it at some point. But we appreciate everybody for being here. And if you got any questions, submit our question and answer form on our Linktree. And we love you guys. Thank you for watching.
Yep. See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.